With this pandemic and civil unrest, the election on everyone's mind, we must not be distracted from the numerous warnings on methods of how to overthrow a government. The Art of War by Sunzi, The Rules for Radical by Saul Alinski, The Prince by Machiavelli, and The Dictator's Handbook by Alaster Smith are a few of the many books on the subject. The most blatant signals are in the Rules for Radicals. Number 1, control healthcare and you will control the people. 2, increase poverty as poor people are easier to control. 3, increase the debt to unsustainable levels. 4, remove the ability for citizens to defend themselves. 5, control every aspect of life: food, housing, healthcare, and income. 6, control what children are taught in schools, teaching only progressive ideas. 7, remove the belief in God, with the state being the ultimate authority. 8, divide the people into warring factions to foster discontent and animosity. Every one of these points has been happening gradually for decades by administrations of both parties. The situation now is most alarming, with riots and looting declared to be a right of free speech by liberal politicians, and not subject to the social distancing rules, while those same mayors and governors are arresting people for opening their businesses too soon, going to the beach for a picnic, or attending church. Closing the country down, infusing trillions of dollars, raising our national debt, while liberal states are resisting reopening, demanding more state government assistance, it is a perfect way to inflict poverty on the country, making the poor people easier to control. Allowing and encouraging protesters to continue with racist slogans like Black Lives Matter is actually declaring other lives, like non-blacks and the unborn, don't matter. This is blatantly discriminatory and hypocritical. They demand the Second Amendment and the police departments be eliminated. This is a perfect way to remove any ability to defend ourselves. The money saved would go to sensitivity training and reparations for those who feel they are being oppressed. These are the very same people who are allowing the destruction of private businesses and excuse it as advancing social justice. As terrible as this all is, it is the deep state using a small minority of anarchists to use the rules for radicals to advance their self-serving agenda. They want to make sure they don't let any good disaster go to waste. This too will pass. The foundation of our economy is very strong, and the pandemic scare tactics are no longer working. The protests and riots are a perfect test to expose the flaws in their modeling and logic for social distancing. In spite of the severe tactics used but to control the pandemic, very little difference was noticed compared to countries who took a more sensible approach. This pandemic is used by the deep state to implement the rules for radicals by insisting social distance be followed. This is their subtle way to see how far they can go to acclimate us to socialism. This is Keith Kuby wishing you the best in making the world a better place.